Hello viewers, SniperWolf1001 here with another video, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Now, I haven't really been too active on this channel within the past few months, mainly because of the whole pandemic stuff that's been going on. A lot of the models and figures I'd planned to do reviews on within the past few months have gotten delayed, so I haven't really been keeping up on that stuff as much. But in regards to this video, I kind of drew a lot of inspiration from Arekkz Gaming. He actually did a Monster Hunter tier list fairly recently, and I thought that was actually pretty cool. And you know, Monster Hunter, it's a series that I've always liked, and especially Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, easily being one of my favorite games of this generation. So I thought, you know what, it would be pretty cool if I did my own tier list. So, you know what, just jumping straight into this, we're going to go to Anjanath. So Anjanath, I think I'm going to put right onto C tier. Reason why is because Anjanath, I think he poses a pretty decent challenge to early game players in World. He has an interesting design too. He's kind of like a T-Rex. I like how when he enrages, he gets these wings on his body, which I don't really know what the wings are for. He doesn't seem to really use them, but you know, that's kind of cool. And he has like the fire breath as well too that he doesn't really use very often. But yeah, he's kind of interesting design-wise. When it comes to Azure Rathalos is going straight into D tier. I really don't like fighting Azure Rathalos. He spends way too much time in the air. He's just really annoying to fight. And me, like, I consider myself like a dual blade main. I do use a few other weapons, but I pretty much exclusively use dual blades. And dual blade user fighting a monster that spends 90% of its time in the air is not fun. So you know what? He's going straight into D tier. Barroth going into D tier as well too. He's kind of a boring monster. I remember fighting him in 3U and he wasn't really that special there either. Even with his variant, I think it was Jade Barroth or something, he's kind of boring monsters. I do like their mud mechanic, how they use like mud armor and stuff, but overall they're not really that special. When it comes to Seething Basil Juice, I'm gonna put Seething Basil Juice maybe into B tier. So this is kind of weird because like when it comes to regular Basil Juice, pre-Iceborne and pre-Deviljho, Basil Juice was kind of the Deviljho of the game. He was like that invasive creature that would always interfere with your hunts. He would be really annoying, dropping bombs all over the place and dive bombing the hell out of you. He was really an annoying monster to fight, but for whatever reason, I actually enjoy fighting Seething Basil Juice a lot more than him. And I kind of like his design as well too. I like his new moves, like his super move that he has, and like the bombs, how they glow purple and stuff, and they have really big explosions. So, you know what, I'm going to put him up into B tier. When it comes to Behemoth is going straight up to S tier for me. I love Final Fantasy. Behemoths are probably one of my favorite monsters from the Final Fantasy universe. They look so cool, and they're really fun to fight. And I thought that their inclusion in World was done so well. They somehow managed to really implement MMORPG elements into Monster Hunter World so well, with the whole rage and aggro mechanics, like the damage checks, and then how he does like the wiping with like the comets, and then he drops the meteors down. You have to hide behind the comics in order to not die. It was a really cool monster, and he was like at the time, he was definitely like a very challenging monster, especially Extreme Behemoth. He was definitely like the toughest monster to fight at the time, and then you felt really rewarded after beating him. So you know what? And design-wise, he just looks so cool. So yeah, he's going straight up into S tier. When it comes to Diablos, yeah, Black Diablos and regular Diablos are going straight into E tier for me. I have a very deep-seated hatred toward these two monsters. I've hated them since 3U. In 3U, their hitboxes were so broken, they were not fun to fight, and like they have like the fact that they spend so much time underground, they're always constantly burrowing under you, you can barely hit them, and a lot of their attacks have so much of like a wide arc and so much range to them. They're just not fun monsters to fight. So yeah, they're going straight into E tier for me. I don't like those monsters, and I don't like the fact that they came back into World. Deviljho, I'm gonna put Deviljho a little bit over Black Diablos and regular Diablos, just because Deviljho is annoying for me, but you know what, I enjoy fighting him a little bit more, and I liked in 3U how you could exploit, you know, like the meat mechanics, using paralyzed meat and tinged meat and all this stuff to kind of fight him, so I'm keeping him there in D tier. Dodogama, I'm going to put Dodogama up into B tier. The only reason why is because Dodogama, he's just cute. He's just a cute monster. I'm going to keep him up into B tier, and leave it at that. Like, Dodogama, he's not really that fun to, well, yeah, he's not really that fun to fight because he's just super easy, but like, I mean, he's adorable, so I'm going to keep him into B tier. When it comes to Great Gyros, I think I'd put Great Gyros up into B tier as well too. Very unique monster. I like the fact that he's different from the other monsters because he hunts in packs. I like how he'll hunt with all of the smaller Gyros, and then they use paralysis to kind of incapacitate you, and then like attack, like gang up on you and do all that stuff. And then on top of that, the armor that you can craft from him is really cool looking as well too. So Great Gyros, definitely one of my favorite like smaller monsters, I guess, like low tier monsters. Great Jagras, I'm probably gonna put up into A tier. And the reason why I'm putting him up there is because Great Jagras is just such a dynamic monster for me, and mainly in the way that he interacts with the world. So one of the things that I found so amazing about Monster Hunter World is just how well they were able to design the world. Great Jagras is a very good example of that, and I always use him as an example whenever I describe World to people, because Great Jagras just feels like he's just living and breathing in this world. When you just go on expeditions and you just follow him around and watch him hunt, like you see him swallow an Aptonoth whole, and then he goes back into his den, you know, he regurgitates some of the meat, calls out for like the smaller Jagras to eat that meat, and he goes back into his den so he can digest the rest of it. That's just so cool. I've never seen a game do that before. And just because of that, you know, Great Jagras is going up into A tier for me. So yeah, and I also like fighting him a lot more than some of the early Monster Hunter monsters, like better than Great, like Jaggy and like Jagia and stuff. So yeah, he's definitely going there. Gyarados, going straight into E tier. He's just a boring monster. He's not fun. He's you know, he's an easy monster, he's boring, his armor doesn't look that great, there's not really much to say about Gyarados. He's kind of relegated to one area in the Wildspire Waste, because he can't really go anywhere else, so, you know what, he's going to E tier. Kieran, I'm actually going to put Kieran up into A tier, and this might surprise some people, because I know a lot of people hate Kieran, but I actually really enjoy Kieran, especially, like, as a dual blade user. I feel that Kieran is, like, a good monster, for, like high-speed, like, reactionary engagements. Because I like the fact that I can go in there with dual blades, you know, do, like, a hit-and-run strategy, attack him a couple times, and then, like, predict where his lightning's coming down, dodge off the lightning, then go back. Like, he kind of keeps you on your toes. He's a really fun monster to fight, in my opinion. So he's going up into A tier, and I like his design as well, too. When it comes to Kulu-Yaku, I think I'll put down into maybe B tier. Kulu-Yaku, he's kind of just a silly monster. I like how he'll burrow for eggs and like pick up rocks and then think he's indestructible when he has rocks. So he's kind of funny. So I'll just keep him up into B tier for sure. When it comes to Kulftaroth is going straight up into S tier. Kulftaroth was a very cool siege monster for sure. I like the whole mechanic where everybody in your server kind of contributes to a grand total of like of what everybody gets from their hunt. I thought that was really cool. Like the armor and weapons that you can craft from it are pretty interesting as well too. And I like Kulftaroth's design. The whole black and gold color scheme is really interesting. And I like how dynamic the fight is. How Kulftaroth, the first phase starts off with her super slow. She has all this gold on her body, so she can't really move around too much. But then as you go further and further through the phases, you know, you get eventually to the last phase where you completely strip her of her gold armor, and then she's just a lot faster, but she has a lot more like devastating attacks at this time. So I like how you go from like a slow, tanky monster to a fast, I guess slightly weaker defensive-wise monster, but like fast and very deadly. So I thought that was really cool. When it comes to Kushala, my opinion of Kushala has varied drastically over the World and Iceborne. I actually liked fighting Kushala. Like if this was World, I probably would have put Kushala up into A tier. But because Kushala is such a pain in the ass to fight in Iceborne, he's going straight into D tier. I do not like fighting Kushala in Iceborne. Kushala, you're not fun, man. Like his armor looks cool and stuff, but fighting him is just a pain in the ass. Lavasioth is going straight into E tier along with Gyarados. He's not fun. He's just a lava Gyarados with annoying like lava mechanics where his body gets hard and, you know, your weapons bounce off of him and stuff. So he's going there. I don't really like fighting him. Legiana, I'd probably put into B tier as well too. Legiana, cool looking design. I kind of enjoy the fight as well too. I think, yeah, Legiana's pretty interesting. Lunastra is definitely very similar to... It's a similar case to Kushala with me. I liked Lunastra back in World, but since Iceborne came out, I've absolutely hated fighting Lunastra. This thing is not fun to fight anymore. It's just a complete, utter annoyance to fight, so I'm just going to keep him down into D tier along with Kushala. When it comes to Nergigante, I'm going to put Nergigante up into S tier. I really like Nergigante, both lore-wise and fighting him as well, too. It's a very fun fight, and I like how, like, lore-wise, he's kind of like an equalizer in, like, the... Yeah, he kind of forms the equilibrium in nature, essentially, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I like the fact that, you know, he has, like, the rapidly growing spikes all over his body. A lot of his attacks are pretty interesting. He's just a very strong monster. I just love how he goes toe-to-toe with a bunch of Elder Dragons and stuff. He's just really cool. So Adogeron now. Adogeron, I think, is going to go straight up into S tier. So Adogeron, actually, you know what? And on top of that, I'm gonna put Tobi-Kadachi up here into S. Actually, no. I'm gonna put Tobi-Kadachi down into A tier. Yeah. So the reason why I put Adogeron up into S tier is because before, like pre-Iceborne, I always considered Adogeron and Tobi-Kadachi, like Adogeron to be like the Zinogre of Monster Hunter World, and I always compared Tobi-Kadachi to being like the Nargacuga of Monster Hunter World, just because, like, Tobi-Kadachi, I think he might have the same skeleton as Nargacuga, but he definitely has a lot of moves, especially in terms of just his movement, is very similar to Nargacuga as well, and he's that fast, agile monster that jumps off of walls and stuff, which is pretty interesting. And Adogeron is very similar to Zinogre, I think. So I always loved those monsters because of that, and they're just really fun to fight. I love fast monsters like Adogeron and Tobi-Kadachi as well too, especially as a dual blade user, so yeah, they definitely get a high spot for me. Paolumu is probably going to go into B tier, mainly just because Paolumu is just kind of cute. I do like how in the fights it kind of like sucks up air and then it puffs up its neck and it kind of floats around like a balloon and stuff. So yeah, it's going to go into B tier. Pink Rathian, I'm going to put into C tier, just because Pink Rathian I don't really like fighting that much, but I like fighting it more than Azure Rathalos, so I wouldn't really put it on the same tier. Puke probably put in the C tier as well too. Fighting it off the beginning of World, not really that fun. Too much poison, I guess. Radobon, I think I would also put into C tier. Let's see. I'm gonna put Uragon into C tier as well too. Reason why I don't like these two monsters. I like Radobon a little bit more than Uragon, but Uragon I've always not liked. Like since 3U, he was always a monster that I always thought was kind of boring to fight. He doesn't really look cool. He looks pretty ugly, actually, in my opinion. And, like, a lot of the moves he has, like, he's not really a fun monster to fight. And Radobon is pretty much just a spiky version of Uragon. So, those two are just gonna go into C tier. When it comes to Rathalos, regular Rathalos, I've never been a huge fan of Rathalos, to be honest. So, I'm gonna keep him into C tier. Rathian, I'll probably keep Rathian there as well, too. When it comes to Teostra, I might put up into B tier. I think he's... Design-wise, Teostra looks really cool. I'm not really a huge fan of the fight, so... I do like some of the weapons that you can craft from him, but, like... Yeah, I think he's definitely, like, a B tier monster for me, for sure. When it comes to CZ Yaku, I think I'll put CZ Yaku into B tier as well, too. CZ Yaku reminds me, like, design-wise of, like, the Great Jaggies and stuff like that. He definitely looks very similar, but I do like fighting him, because I think the whole mechanic where he, like, flashes you and flashes the monsters and blinds them is kind of interesting, too, kind of keeps you on your toes. So, I'll keep that into B tier. When it comes to Valhazak, I'll probably put into A tier. I really enjoy fighting Valhazak. I think the whole effluvium mechanics are pretty interesting, and I really like Valhazak's design. Like, honestly, Valhazak reminds me of something that you would see in, like, the Dark Souls or Demon Souls series. Like, you could put Valhazak in one of those games and you wouldn't even tell the difference. And I really like that. It's just very different for Monster Hunter, so I think Valhazak is definitely an A tier monster for sure. When it comes to Xeno'jiiva is definitely S tier for me. Xeno'jiiva, everything about it I like. I like the design of it. It kind of looks like an alien dragon where it has like the multiple eyes and its body is very luminescent. Very, very cool monster. The fight can get a little boring because he has a lot of HP and it kind of drags on, but I still like fighting him despite all of that. And I also like the concept too, where like Xeno'jiiva is kind of just like a maybe not necessarily a baby, but it's not on the same level of its fully grown form, I guess, like Safi'jiiva. So I think fighting it, and when you see it do things like laser the ground, and then it lasers the ground too much to where it falls into the ground and gets itself stuck, I think that stuff's kind of funny, very, very dynamic. So I put Xeno'jiiva up into S tier for that. Zora Magdaros, is going straight into E tier. I think Zoromagdaros is definitely one of the worst fights in the game and one of the most boring fights. Honestly, like when I think back to Monster Hunter 3U, I didn't think that there would be a monster more boring than Cydaeus. If any of you guys remember that Elder Dragon, Cydaeus was just such a boring monster for me, but somehow Monster Hunter World managed to top that with Zoromagdaros. I thought Zoromagdaros was literally sleep-inducing in comparison to Cydaeus, so he's going straight into E tier. Acidic Glavenus is probably going to go into maybe C tier for me. I do like his design. His debuff mechanics are a little annoying, but yeah, he's still a pretty cool monster. Banbaro is going to go all the way up into S tier. I really like Banbaro because he's just a very dynamic fight. I like the fact that he'll use the environment to his advantage. He'll pick up like trees with his antlers and like try to steamroll you with them, or like roll up giant snowballs or rocks and stuff and throw them at you. Really cool monster. So he's going up there. Barioth, straight up into S tier. One of my favorite monsters from 3U. Glad that he made a return into Iceborne. So, and his armor, his weapons and stuff are great. So straight up into S tier. Beatotus, I'll actually put into C tier. I actually like fighting him a lot more than the Gyarados and Lavasioth, mainly because of I like how he uses the snow, like he kind of like moves through the snow and does all of that stuff, and he has more area to explore since he's in the Hoarfrost Reach. There's a lot more snow there. I find him a lot more enjoyable than Gyarados and Lavasioth for sure. With Blackveil Valhazak, I think I'm definitely going to put him into A tier. He's, actually, you know what, I'm going to put him down into B tier, just because he's a little bit more annoying than regular Valhazak, but I still enjoy fighting him, so he's definitely going to go there. Brachydios, I'm going to put Brachydios into... I'm going to put him into S tier. Brachydios, one of my favorite monsters from 3U, and he had he crafted a lot of the most overpowered weapons in 3U because slime was broken as hell in 3U. So yeah, he's a really fun fight as well too, and I like his design, very unique, so he's going straight up into S tier. So when it comes to Brute Tigrex, I'm going to put him into A tier. Tigrex, I never really got to fight Tigrex before Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Unless you consider Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker's Monster Hunter collaboration not to count, where you could fight Tigrex and Rathalos with guns and rocket launchers. But realistically, this is the first Monster Hunter game when I got to fight them, and I got an appreciation for them. Brute Tigrex is really cool how he uses the roaring mechanic. Really interesting monster to fight for sure. When it comes to Coral Puke Puke, I'm going to put Coral Puke Puke into B tier. I like Coral Puke Puke a lot more than regular Puke Puke because he's one of the variants that are very, like, drastically different from his original form. Because I like how he uses the water mechanics. He has, like, that one where he hovers up in the air and then sprays the water in a circle. And even the one move where, like, he sprays water, like, out of his mouth and then he uses his tongue to kind of separate it to make two water beams. I think that's, like, really cool, so... He's definitely a B tier monster for me. Ebony Adogeron. If Adogeron's into S tier, Ebony Adogeron's up into S tier as well too. Very cool design. They made him look so much cooler than Adogeron, and on top of that dragon element, he's just really cool. S tier for sure. Fulgur Anjanath is going straight up into A tier for me. They somehow made Anjanath way more cooler than regular Anjanath. With Fulgur, I like his design with like the black stripes over his body, and of course he uses like lightning element now, which is so cool. I like the lightning bite attack that he has, and like the lightning tackle where he like dives forward with like a lightning attack. Like that whole thing is pretty cool. So yeah, Fulgur Anjanath, really cool. When it comes to Furious Rajang, I think I'm gonna put him down into maybe D tier. I'm not really a big fan of fighting Rajang, and I know I said I liked fighting fast monsters, but Rajang is definitely more on the annoying side for me, and I think I'm gonna put regular Rajang on the same playing field as him. When it comes to Glavenus, I think Glavenus is definitely gonna be maybe on B tier here in comparison to Acidic Glavenus. I definitely enjoy Glavenus a lot more than Acidic Glavenus, so I'll definitely keep him up there. When it comes to Gold Rathian is going straight into, maybe not E tier, but I'm gonna put her straight into D tier, just because Goldrathian, not fun to fight. The poison is incredibly annoying, especially like the really deadly poison. Get that out of my game. I really don't like fighting Goldrathian, so you can stay there in D tier. Namiel is gonna go all the way into A tier. Namiel, probably one of my favorite Elder Dragons in World, and is a really good monster, like, addition to the series. I really like how it uses both a balance between water and electricity, which is kind of cool. I like how it creates water on the field, and then when it's enraged, you know, it lights up with, like, strobe lights and stuff. Really cool looking monster, and a really fun monster to fight, in my opinion. The only thing that's a little annoying is its water beam attack. I always find it really difficult to dodge that thing without doing, like, the Superman dive, so yeah, A tier for sure. Nargacuga is going straight up into S tier for me. Nargacuga's always been one of my favorite monsters since 3U. Really cool looking monster, how he's like pretty much like a stealth assassin. He has like the dark fur with like the blades on his arm, which is really cool. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites, going straight up into S tier. I do kind of hope that they'll release a variant of Nargacuga, which if they do, I'm hoping that they do Lucent Nargacuga. That was one of my favorite monsters to fight in 3U, because it just made fighting Nargacuga even more intense with him going invisible and stuff. So yeah, Nargacuga, S tier. Nightshade Palamu is going to go straight into D tier. As much as I like regular Palamu, I really don't care about the sleep status ailment from Nightshade, so yeah, you're going into D tier. Raging Brachydios is probably going to go into probably D tier as well too. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put him into C tier, just because Raging Brachydios is a lot more annoying to fight compared to regular Brachydios. He's actually pretty legitimately hard. I still like him, but yeah, he's gonna go into C tier just because, like, yeah, he's kind of annoying. So when it comes to Runa Nergigante, you're going straight up there with regular Nergigante. Safi Jiva is going up into S tier as well too. Again, like, if Xenojiva is up there, Safi Jiva is definitely going up there. I love the fact that Safi Jiva, you know, it has more control over its powers, and you get to see what an older, more experienced, I guess, version of Xenojiva is like, which is really cool. Yeah, it definitely makes the whole fight a lot more intense with Safi Jiva, and of course the weapons you get from them and the armor, super cool. So yeah, he's going up in there. So Savage Deviljho, I'm probably going to keep him on the same tier as regular Deviljho. I'm really not a big fan of fighting the Deviljhos, to be honest. Never really have been, so yeah. When it comes to regular Basiljuice, like I said before, I for whatever reason, I don't like... Actually, you know what? I'm going to put him in B tier. I'm going to put him on the same level as Seething Basiljuice. I like Seething Basiljuice a little bit more than regular Basiljuice, but you know what? They're fine. I'm gonna put him there. When it comes to Shara Ishvalda now, Shara Ishvalda is going straight up into S tier. He's a very cool Elder Dragon. I like the fact that he just completely catches you off guard with, like, first him being in, like, that rock form. You're fighting this giant rock monster, and then all of a sudden, it just breaks out of the rocks and turns into this giant, like, alien-looking tentacle-having, like, monster that fires, like beams. Like, I thought that they were, like... At first, I thought they were, like, air waves, but apparently someone was saying that they're actually sound waves that he's shooting. But I think, yeah, Shara Ishvalda, a very cool monster for sure. Interesting to fight. His armor looks really cool as well too, so going up into S tier for sure. Shrieking Legiana is going to be on the same tier as regular Legiana for me. Shrieking Legiana is just a little bit more annoying than regular Legiana, but, you know, they're pretty much the same to me, so they're going to go there. When it comes to Silver Rathalos, I'm actually going to put Silver Rathalos into B tier. Surprisingly, I actually enjoy fighting Silver Rathalos a lot more than Goldrathian. I don't necessarily know why. It might be because you don't have to deal with as much poison. But yeah, he's definitely a lot more enjoyable. And I even like fighting Silver Rathalos more than Azure Rathalos for whatever reason. I don't know, I think it might just be the location that you fight him in, but I just find him a lot more enjoyable than Azure for sure. Now when it comes to Zinogre, so both Zinogres are going straight up into S tier, both Stygian Zinogre and regular Zinogre. They've been my favorite monsters, my favorite, I guess, non-Elder Dragon monsters for the longest time. Love the design, especially with regular Zinogre, with the blend between green and yellow and, like, the white fur and the electricity. And of course, Stygian Zinogre just with that badass looking black and white and red paint scheme. Not paint scheme, but color scheme, rather. Looking really cool, and he used Dragon Element. They really changed up the way that his attacks worked in this game compared to how it was originally. But, yeah, like, very cool monsters. My favorite non-Elder Dragons of the series. So Tigrex, regular Tigrex is going to go in the same level, A tier, with Brute Tigrex. Very cool monster for sure. Velkhana is going to go into S tier for me. I love the way that, I thought Velkhana was a really cool Elder Dragon. I like the way that it used its ice attacks, especially when it, like, builds, like, ice pillars out of the ground. You know, it has its ice super move, and, like, it, you know, it's a very cool looking monster. It does, like, the ice armor and stuff. Like, for me, it was a fun fight. I like Velkhana's battle theme as well, too. So, you know, Velkhana's going up into S tier. Also, yeah, mentioning battle theme, Zinogre's battle theme is probably my favorite in the series. Zinogre's battle theme is just so good. When it comes to Viper Tobikadachi now, Viper Tobikadachi is going straight into D tier. The only reason why I'm not putting him into E tier is because I like his design. Of course, it's just regular Tobikadachi, but with kind of like a bronze kind of look to it. But you know what? This monster is really annoying. I really don't care for his paralysis or his poison. Like, literally every attack does a status ailment, so you know what? He's going down D tier. Don't like fighting him at all. Yengaruga is going straight into E tier. I really don't like Yengaruga at all. Yengaruga is just really annoying to fight, and on top of that too, Yengaruga is pretty much just a copy of Rathalos and Rathian. It literally has all of the moves that they do. I think it only has like 2 unique moves to itself. Apart from that, it just uses the same moves that Rathian and Rathalos use. So, you know what, he's not very special to me. I don't like him, so he's going in there. They don't have Scarred Yengaruga on this list, so I put him down into E tier as well too, or maybe even D tier, just because Scarred Yengaruga, I respect him a tiny bit more than regular Yengaruga, just because he has more of an identity with his moveset. He has more original moves than just copying Rathian and Rathalos, so, but he's still a really annoying monster to fight, so, you know, they're definitely low on the scale for me. So, now we're at our last monster, we're at Alatreon. So, this is going to be kind of weird to rate Alatreon just because, you know, he's not in the game yet, but I'm going to rate Alatreon based off of my knowledge of him from 3U, and I'm going to put him all the way up into S tier. Alatreon is hands down one of my favorite of the black dragons, or, you know, the whatever the other term is that you call them. I think they're like first class deadly monsters, or dangerous monsters, whatever they're called. But pretty much the black dragons, people on the tier of like Dire Moralis and Fatalis, those monsters, Alatreon is definitely my favorite. I fought him a lot in 3U. It was a really fun fight. I love the battle theme, love the weapons that you can craft from him, love the armor. There's literally not a single thing that I dislike about Alatreon. He's a good challenge. He's a pretty tough monster to fight normally as well too. And yeah, he's just really cool, right? And, you know, I don't know how he's going to be in Iceborne. Of course, nobody does, but like, you know, I have a feeling Capcom's not going to disappoint when he's finally introduced into the game. So that is my Monster Hunter World Iceborne tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys found it entertaining and informative in some way, shape, or form. There's definitely a lot of very welcome additions to the series, especially some of the older monsters that they may have reworked, like Stygian Zinogre as a big example there. But with all of that said, that's going to bring this video to a close. There's definitely going to be a lot more Monster Hunter related content on this channel within the, in the future and within the next coming weeks and months. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But with all that said, I hope all you guys stay safe. I hope you guys have a good day or good night, depending on where you are. And I'll see you all later.